What's up, dolls? Welcome back to another video. Like I said, it has been a while since I've been here, but today I am bringing you back another DailyDelle / Rondelle Martin original, because y'all know I have my vlog channel now, DailyDelle TV. So if you like vlogs and all that, go ahead and subscribe to that channel. You can find it on my homepage of this channel. Just scroll to the bottom or just type in DailyDelle TV at DailyDelle TV and you'll see it. So anyways, let's get into today's topic. And I want to talk about this again. I talked about this several years ago on this channel, but I want to talk about it again because in this season of my life, I'm seeing the power of this and I'm reminded as to why it is so important to do this. And you're asking, possibly, if you haven't noticed the title yet, what is this that you're talking about? And that's moving in silence. Like at the end of the day, there's a power to moving in silence. And if nothing else, moving in silence protects your peace. First and foremost, like I said, I'm in a transitional season of my life. I've moved, I've actually relocated, and there are several people still trying to figure out, like, where is Rondelle? That is the question of the quarter. Where is Rondelle? Okay. Now, if you've done digging and you were actually doing your research, you would know, but I haven't come out and announced it yet, and I have a rhyme and reason to why I have not, which I'm not going to share all that on this channel, of course, but those who know me in real life know why, and I will share some things on this video and even on this channel over time, and probably even on the other channel, who knows. But one thing that has really just held me together in life is moving in silence. And honestly, I know we talk about this a lot, and you might even be like, well, what does that even look like? Like, should I tell people anything? Should I just completely be reclusive when it comes to my personal information? Should I be discerning about who I share what to? And honestly, I can't tell you verbatim, step by step, how moving in silence will look in your life. But what I will say is that if you find yourself oversharing information, I actually learned recently that that is I think an anxiety response or a nervous response, something like that. But you struggle with anxiety, I believe, or it's something. Don't quote me. Those of you who maybe might have heard what I'm talking about, maybe you could drop it in the comments. But basically, oversharing is like a nervous response of some sort or whatever the case may be. And so when you find yourself just sharing too much, like honestly, people talk too much. People talk way too much, like, and some more than others, but I think people talk too much for one of several reasons. Like I said, one, it could be a nervous, anxious response. Two, I feel like a lot of times people feel they have something to prove, so they get in a room with people, even if it's just one other person, and they're like, I gotta let you know what I got going on, what I'm doing, who's doing what for me, who bought this for me, who's loving on me, who's checking for me, who's this, that, the other. And honestly, nobody cares. At the end of the day, like, nobody truly really cares, and the people that truly really care probably are already privy to it in some way, shape, or form. So for you to just get into a room and start blabbing off at the mouth and flapping your gums, like, you need to check that. You really do need to check that, because more often than not, what I've found is that you're just giving people leeway into your life that do not have the need to be in it. Like they know certain information about you, and it's like things start going left. People start praising in your demise. They start rejoicing in your shameful moments. And when I say shameful, not that you necessarily walk around with your head held down or whatever, but just moments in life where you're like, I'm really fighting for my life right now. I'm really going through the fire. And these people, it's like they're secretly rejoicing over that. And people, misery loves company too. That's another reason why I'm like, you got to move in silence. Because one, we don't want to give more airtime than necessary to the bad things that are happening in your life. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a believer of toxic positivity, but I am a believer in Christ first and foremost. So I do believe that in order to protect your peace, it's not just a matter of not sharing information, but it's a matter of giving your mind and your thoughts direction. It's a matter of dwelling on things that are right, that are true, that are pure, like it says in Philippians. It's a matter of keeping your eyes set on Christ. And again, it doesn't mean that you don't acknowledge what's happening in the world, that you're completely just dismissive to real life hurts and situations. We're human, and I'm a thorough advocate that you should allow yourself to feel. Because one thing I know I don't like is when people kind of have this flippant attitude, like, just get over it, just focus on Christ. Like, feel what you need to feel so you can truly heal from that. You can truly move on from it. Don't feel like you need to pacify it. But if you keep giving airtime to certain things, to certain negative things happening in your life, you keep talking about things, you just wallow in a miserable state, you're giving it more airtime and the enemy more airtime than he deserves. You're magnifying these things in your mind because you can't dwell on negative and positive at the same time. Like our brains literally scientifically cannot do that. So if you are going to choose to focus on positive things, focus and magnify the peaceful things, the righteous things, the true things, the pure things in your life that come from the Lord, it's going to shift your mind. And so what ends up happening when you don't do that is that you're not only giving it more airtime and magnifying it, but misery truly loves company. And in this relocation in particular in my life, I've noticed that like some people truly can't stand to see you happy, joyful. Like it literally gets under some people's skin. Like how in the world can you be going through things in life? Because we're all going through things. Like if you're not going through something right now, you probably just got out of something or you're about to enter into something. It's just a cycle of life. We're going to go through storms. And some people just can't understand how, like for me, for example, I've gone through so many storms in this relocation, leading up to the relocation and all that, but I still have my joy. I still have my smile. I'm still kind. I'm still faith-filled. I'm still optimistic. Even when I'm crying, even when I'm like, Lord, I feel like I'm being kicked when I'm down. Lord, like how much more do I have to be pruned? Like when is my breakthrough coming, God? When is the full breakthrough coming? Because you're giving me glimpses and I thank you for it. I truly do. But when is the full breakthrough coming? Some people cannot stand to see that I still have joy in that. It's like they need to remind you like, yeah, but you don't have this, you don't have that. Like you could be further along in life. Okay, someone told me that recently and that really threw me for a loop. That was a doozy. I was like, well, that'll do it, because honestly, like, who are you to tell me where I should be in life? But that's neither here nor there. Don't get me on my soapbox because I was really feeling some type of way about that. I was like, the nerve, the audacity. But again, it's like people have to knock you down a peg. So, and then too, I feel like it draws people to you that are not meant to really journey through life with you. And everyone's going to have a season. Not everyone. Most people that you come across in life are going to have a season. They're not going to be there forever. But I feel like you almost like, it's like a magnet. Like you magnetize people towards you who just want to be around you when you're down. But they can't handle the ascension in your life. They can't handle when you start to make it up the mountain. They love you in the valley. They love you in the wilderness. They love when it's bad news after bad news after bad news after bad news. It's like, wow, like, yeah, let's sit and trauma bond over this. But the minute you start to come up for air, the minute that you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, now it's like, oh, like the energy changes. Now they don't really have time to talk to you as much. Now they almost like, it's like they're very short, or like I said, they give those backhanded compliments where it's like, oh, I like your place, but the doors could have been done better. Or I like your place, but oh, your pantry is so small. Or, oh, your crown molding isn't up to par. What? Really? You couldn't just be like, I'm happy for you. This is great. Like the Lord is moving. So protecting your peace, it goes into all of that. And that's why I'm like, I can't really tell you exactly what moving in silence is going to look like for you, but it's important. And this is why we keep talking about it. Now, like I said, for me, I'm a believer. So I'm going to bring the scripture and I'm going to sprinkle some scripture on that bad boy. Okay, period. But I can't tell you how it's going to look, but I can say that the Lord tells us these things for a reason. And honestly, like, there's a proverb, I believe, that talks about talking too much. Like, it truly is a problem. If you find yourself talking too much, seek the Lord on that. Pray for deliverance from that, because it truly is a problem. And it's like the saying, loose lips sink ships, and it would be wise for you to not talk too much. Like a fool talks too much. And so you have to know what to say, when to say it, who to say it to. Everybody can't receive the same information. And I always tell my close friends this. I'm like, I segment my friends. Like there are certain friends that I love them down. Don't get me wrong. Like we talk every day. We are thick as thieves. We are just two peas in a pod. But when it comes down to it, there's certain things I'm just not going to tell them because I know they don't have the bandwidth for it, or their response is just not going to be what I personally need. That's not their grace for me. They don't have the grace for that area of my life. But when it comes to other things, I would tell them. And then there's friends of mine that I barely talk to. Like we might talk once a quarter, once every 3 months or so. But I know they have the grace that if I bring certain things to them, it's like, okay, we might not kiki, hee hee, ha ha all day, but they have the grace to speak into my life in a certain way. They have the grace to carry that mantle with me. So you have to segment out people and know who to talk to. And then two, you honestly, I don't think it's wise to give all the motion and plans in your life away. Because one, you never know what God is truly doing. And for me, I don't like to speak on something until it's actually signed, sealed, delivered. So that's just me. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, y'all, like this and this is happening. And then it's something else and it pivots and it's like, wait, what's going on? It's kind of like when you have that friend that is in a rocky relationship and this week her and her man are done. She's over it. They're over. It's done. She don't want to see him. Next week they made up. They're back together. The next week after that, they're broken up again and she hates his guts. So next week after that, they love each other again. Like, and she's telling you all this stuff and you're just like, yo, like this emotional roller coaster is a bit much. So don't tell me nan bit else of information until it is signed, sealed, delivered. Either y'all are done or y'all are good. Don't tell me the ins and outs because I'm your friend. Every time you tell me something, I'm getting emotional about it. Now I'm looking at him crazy. And then if y'all decide to work it out, I'm looking at him with a stank face. Like, what? Why are you all sitting on his lap and all kissy face and all? Like, don't do it. So that's one reason why I don't speak on things until it's signed, sealed, delivered. Because I don't want to get people's hopes up. I don't want to draw people in one way or the other way. And then two, like, I just like to keep my peace about it. I like to make sure that it's something that like I can navigate through with the Lord in my own thoughts and not have to necessarily have everyone's opinions, everyone's input. And that's another reason too with this relocation. I didn't tell people because a lot of people have a lot of opinions and they'll be like, well, why didn't you stay here? Why didn't you go there? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And it's like, first of all, I'm an intelligent woman. I'm not going to sit here and just make a move if I don't crunch the numbers, if I don't do the research, if I don't do my due diligence. I'm a numbers girl. We can sit and talk all day about feelings, but I want to see the facts. What do the numbers say? Even with my mom, I was literally telling her this morning because she's in the U.S. taking care of some things and doing what she got to do. Y'all know she relocated as well out the country. So she's doing things or whatever. She's like, do you think I should go to this place and take care of this? Or should I wait until this time or this and that? And I was like, let's crunch the numbers. What do the numbers say? And I was like, based on the numbers, no, you should not make that move. You should honestly just do X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, and then carry on with your business until later on down the year. And so she was like, yeah, you know, that makes sense and this and that. So I don't know where she's at with that because I was this morning and I had to go and she had to go. But that's me. Give me the facts. So that's why I didn't tell a lot of people about this relocation, and I will make the official announcement in the coming weeks. It's coming up soon, y'all. I know some of y'all are like, when are you gonna say it? Because some of you know and you're like tight-lipped, but I love y'all because y'all the real MVPs. And that's another thing, major side note, get yourself a circle that has closed lips, because a lot of y'all like to boast about how, oh, I don't tell people my business, and y'all can't hold water. Y'all running and telling this person, that person, and the third. And like my mom and dad always said growing up, every friend of yours got a best friend. Every friend of yours got a confidant. So it's better left unsaid. Zip those lips and shut your mouth and stop talking. So some of y'all really ain't about that life. You talking the talk, but you ain't walking the walk. And yes, I'm calling you out. And I test, like, it's so funny. I did this thing that I saw on Facebook, what they call throwing a dud or planting a dud or something, where you tell someone a piece of information that's inconsequential just to see if it will come back up later in another conversation from someone else, or see if they would throw it in your face later. I do that all the time and people don't even be knowing it. And then listen, my memory when it comes to conversation, I might not remember your name for the first few times, but I'm gonna know your face. I might not remember certain specifics about certain things, but when it comes to conversations, and when it comes to life events, I remember. I be remembering the most minute details. I'm very observant about that type of stuff, even what I say. And so I would do stuff like that in conversation all the time just to see. Like I tell my friends, I test and I train. I'm testing you to see what kind of person are you. Because you talking this good talk about, oh, I don't tell people's business, this and that and the third. We gonna see about that because I'm testing you, but I'm training you on how to treat me based on how I relate to you. And so I don't entertain certain conversations, or I don't entertain it past a certain time, because like I said, misery loves company. And so that's why I moved in silence with this move. And let me tell you, it has brought me peace. Now, has the situation been peaceful? Not all the time, because baby, I've been fighting for my life, hanging on by a thread by a lot of the stuff that I've had to navigate and go through. But it brought me peace in the sense of I'm going through that, but I don't have to deal with other people's opinions and their thoughts and their, unsolicited advice while I'm going through it. I'm able to navigate that space in peace with the Lord and hear from him clearly. Because at the end of the day, too, another reason why I would say move in silence is not only do you not know what the Lord is doing, but again, you don't want to get people's unsolicited advice. Like, because this faith walk, I can't even talk, y'all. This faith walk is crazy. Like, you would do things and you will move in a way where people are like, what in the world? Like, that don't even make sense. Again, not completely reckless, because God does call us to count the cost, to do our due diligence before we make major moves. But God will also lead you into places and spaces and in a time frame where you're like, what? This don't make sense. What am I doing? Like, are you sure, Lord? And so people in their fear will project onto you and be like, oh, well, I would have done it like this, or you should have done it like that, or I would have went here instead of there, or talked to this person instead of that person, and all this type of stuff. And now you're out of the will of what God wanted you to do in that season. Could he redeem it and restore the time? Absolutely, because he's all powerful, all knowing, all the things. He knew that you would even go outside of his will in that season, so he was prepared. But I'm just saying, like, it brings unnecessary delay to your life. It brings unnecessary detour to your life. Whereas if you had just said, let me lean on the Lord and let me seek his guidance and the wisdom of people that are graced for this season of my life, then you would have spared yourself 40 years in the wilderness. Don't be like the Israelites, y'all. Don't be like the Israelites. Spare yourself the 40-year trip around the mountain in the wilderness, okay? Leave people out of your business. Stop telling people your business. Move in silence for peace. You have nothing to prove to anybody. Nobody has to co-sign your decisions in life. Nobody has to say, atta girl, atta boy, you did that. Nobody has to do that. Once God is pleased and you know that you're following the Lord, all that other stuff doesn't matter, because a lot of people are speaking out of fear too. A lot of people are projecting their fears, their negativity onto you, because your faith walk probably already looks like you doing things that they could never, okay? And they feel like, oh, well, I know this because I've been through this in life and been through that. And I'm not discrediting wisdom at all. But when you start to project on people and you start to pour all your negativity and just all of that toxicity and whatnot onto people, it's not a good look. And it can really cloud the voice of God in your life. So, you want to move in silence for that reason too. Like I said, you want to move in silence to protect your peace in the process, because the process is going to be a process, and some processes are going to turn you every which way but loose, but you're going to be victorious in the end. You have the victory in the Lord, but it is definitely going to turn you every which way but loose. And honestly, God allows for those things to happen so you can draw closer to him. So that's why it's important for you to have peace and to cling onto him. When the waves of life are crashing you upon the rock, as long as you're crashing upon the rock of ages, you're good. God is a strong tower. So you want to protect your peace. You don't want to trauma bond with people by talking too much, okay? Because certain people live for that. They live for you going through a trial. They live for your demise. They live for your shame, so to speak, like I said. Not that you necessarily are walking with shame, but those moments where it's like, oh yeah, like, my marriage is failing, or my kid is acting up, or my finances are real funny and I don't have enough money to pay my bills or whatever. Like, they're rejoicing in that. They're bonding with you like, girl, wow, that's crazy. But on the inside, they're like, yes, like, I'm better off. I'm doing better, or at least I'm not struggling with that. And it's like a sick way of boosting their ego. So yeah, you don't want to trauma bond with people and have people all in your life that can only handle your valley. You need people that can handle you in both, because you're going to have mountaintop moments, valley moments. I need people in my inner circle at my table that can handle both and have the grace for both. So that's the second thing. The third thing is you don't want people projecting onto you. Like, you don't want people projecting onto you like, oh my gosh, like, you did this, you did that, and the other, like, what? I could never, or that's not going to succeed, or this, that, the third. Like, you just don't want that. You don't want to cloud the voice of God through people's projections and their negativity. And honestly, you don't want to, I didn't say this yet, but you also want to move in silence, because you don't know who's a monitoring spirit. Now, I know some people don't subscribe to this level of theology, but based on my life experience, experiences, I'm convinced that there's a monitoring something. I don't know if you want to call it a watcher, a monitoring spirit, a bad mind, whatever, but there is something there in the spirit realm that is on assignment to take you under. There is a Jezebel spirit, there is a Delilah spirit, there is something or someone or a variety of the two out there in the form of monitoring spirits that are waiting to take you out, y'all. And like I said, I have lived it. I have lived it. And some people don't even know they're being used in that way. Like, I have had friendships where I would tell this person something, and they genuinely, from what I can see with the naked eye, are happy for me. Like, they never show me a malicious face. They never show me like you're not going to succeed in this, or any projection or nothing. Like, they genuinely like, girl, like, I'm so happy you're in this new relationship, or I'm so happy you got that promotion or whatever. Like, let's go celebrate. And it's like the minute I tell them, everything comes crashing down. All of a sudden, the promotion gets reneged, or I get the promotion and it's like terrible. I mean, like, it's just like, yo, demote me. Give me back the position I had before, because this is too much. Or the relationship ends. All of a sudden, the guy's mood towards me is totally different. It's changed. It's like it would get good and then it would just stop. And it's like that would be a pattern. And anytime you see patterns in the spiritual realm, something is at work, demonically or heavenly speaking, but something is at work. So it's like when this kept happening, I'm like, it's that person. Like, I told this story on, I think that same video years ago I did this topic on, and I had a friend at the time, and it's like every time I would tell her something or rope her in the plans or whatever, it's like it would just go left, like literally down to the most like inconsequential stuff, y'all. I'm talking like, because I grew up in the DC area. So back in the day, the business casual at the club era, it was a time you had to be there. What a time to be alive, y'all. I lived my best life. I gave outside my best during those years. You hear me? Real blood, sweat, and tears in the game. But yeah, y'all. So I would tell her like, oh, there's this new spot downtown or whatever. Like, I had a blast when I went with my brother, because my brother also has been in like the nightlife scene for decades, like 30 years now plus. And so I'll be like, yeah, like I had a ball and like, you need to come. I go with her, and the next week it is horrendous. It's terrible. We can't find a park. They're upcharging. Drinks are terrible. The music ain't hitting. We ain't getting no love. And like, what? I'm in the club. I need to get love. Like, somebody got to see me, period. Somebody got to be like, listen, you cute. What's your number? Like, don't judge me, y'all. Don't judge me. I'm just telling the truth now. I'm just telling the truth. But it's just like, dang, like this night ain't hitting. So that happened 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. You're like, nah. Like, the first time you're like, maybe it's a fluke. Happens to the best of us. Second, third time, you're like, okay, this is getting a little weird. And when it started to always like literally always happen, when she came in the scene, it was a mess. When she came in the scene in a business starts getting stagnant. I tell her about a relationship, the man starts acting funny. So I really feel like she was being used in the spirit realm as a monitoring spirit, but she didn't know it. Like, I didn't pick that up with the naked eye, and I have a strong sense of discernment. I did not pick up any malicious, like, she is doing this, that, and the third. I just think that she possibly, maybe, I don't know, had some open doors or something, child. Don't get me into that, because that's a whole topic in and of itself. That might even have to be a live stream, but you will notice certain things will freeze up or will like become stagnant and stuff when you tell certain people. And this is another reason too why it's just best to move in silence, period. Like, if you're not sure, it's best to not tell anyone. Now, I have people in my life that thank God, that the opposite happens. I tell them something and I notice acceleration. I tell them something and I notice favor comes behind that thing, because we're standing in agreement. We're one heart, one mind. Their spirit is right with the Lord. Like, they genuinely are interceding for me, going before me. And they're like, Lord, like, let this happen. And I do the same with people in my life. I pray for them. I intercede, even down to my VA clients, like all of that. So, you gotta know. And honestly, the best way to test that is to test and train. Like I mentioned earlier, to throw a dud, tell people something that's not too weighty, just to test, to see, and just see over time. Like, as you tell them things, like, do you notice that pattern? If you notice it, stop. Don't tell them anything else. But if you notice, like, when you tell them, it starts to flow, there's a favor, or if nothing else, it helps you hear the Lord clearer, then that's a good sign. But I think it's just safe, if you're not sure, to just don't tell anyone, period. Especially if it's something that's very near and dear to your heart. Don't say anything until you're absolutely sure. So those are a couple of reasons why you should move in silence. Like I said, moving in silence will look different, but you should not be oversharing. People don't need to know what they don't need to know. especially I would say, if nothing else, when it comes to your love life, your finances, and your purpose or your business, because sometimes they're tied together or whatever. But things of that line, things of that nature, people don't need to know. And when you overshare, you kind of honestly can end up blocking your own blessings too. You can turn people off from you as well, and not even in like a hater stance, but you show your hand and you look weird. Like it looks very unhinged. Like I know people that will share all this stuff they're doing. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere. They're buying this, they're going there, they're spending money like a drunken sailor, but then complaining that they can't pay their bills, complaining that they can't handle actual responsibilities when time comes for it. And my thing is, like, if you're gonna do that, at least be wise, y'all. I'm not saying to deceive people, but come on now. If you're gonna do those kind of things, don't post what you're doing all over the internet and then come begging people for money. That don't make sense. Like, leave some things unshown, unsaid, like, so that way when you come and ask, it's like, yeah, like they probably really are going through this or whatever. But I don't want to see you at every event downtown wearing the latest and greatest hair, nails, everything always did, just living high on the hog, and then you complain you don't have money for your responsibilities. Like, just be wise. If you're going to live a double life, be wise. Like, common sense ain't so common. Again, I'm not encouraging you to do this. I'm not saying you should do it. But come on now. Like, if you're going to live a double life, let's be smarter about it. But anyways, y'all, those are some pointers and just my perspective on moving in silence. Protect your peace. Protect your peace. Protect your peace. Stop oversharing and move in silence. Use discernment on who you share what to. Level up in silence. Let people, the proof will be in the pudding. Like I always tell people, I never share how much money I make, but or how much money is in my account and stuff like that. I just don't share that kind of stuff. But trust me, when I hit a lick, when homegirl gets wealthy, there will be signs. You will know, okay? Because one thing I've never been is a stingy person when it comes to helping people. I am a truly benevolent person. I am a frugal person now. I don't care how wealthy I get. I'm always going to be frugal. Don't hate on it, okay? Don't hate on it. Everybody needs that frugal friend that knows where to get a bargain, who's going to be like, no, girl, don't pay for this. Like, I'm gonna do better. I'm doing better. Not even I'm gonna do better. I am doing better, but I'm always gonna be a little frugal. I just don't. You can't change certain things. But yeah, y'all, like, just be wise about who you share what to. Level up in silence. Keep your peace. Make your moves. You have nothing to prove. Nobody has to know that you're doing this so you feel better about yourself and all that. If you're getting confidence from outside sources to that extent, then you definitely need to draw closer to the Lord. And I pray for an increase in self-esteem and self-confidence, because I don't really care what people think when it comes down to it. So I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do what the Lord leads me to do, what I feel pressing upon my heart. If it doesn't make sense to you, I don't know what to tell you. If it bothers you that much that you're losing sleep at night about it, or I'm the topic of conversation, then I don't know. Like, thank you for the flattery. Thank you that you care that much. But I'm not here to prove to you that I got this, that I got that I'm making this move, I'm making that move. No, ma'am. No, sir. So, and you don't have to do that either. You don't have to prove a thing to anybody. So you don't have to tell people this, that, the third. You don't have to get people's co-signing on things. Move how the Lord tells you to move. Move how you feel that unction in your heart. Protect your peace. Stop oversharing and live your best life. Level up without the opinions of others, without the projection of others. And I promise you, you will have so much more joy and happiness and peace and all that at the end of the day, even through the chaos, even through the storms. You just can't beat it. So I hope you gained something from this video. Comment, let me know. Do you struggle with oversharing? Do you find that there might be a monitoring spirit in your life? Like, I'm laughing, but seriously, like, do you find that you tell somebody something and it's like, yo, like, this is crazy. It's just, it ends. Like, I lost the opportunity. This came to an end. Like, and if that's so, like, you know, let us know. You ain't got to drop the person's name or nothing, but just be like, yo, I've been there. In the comments, let us know, like, are you in a season where you're moving in silence more than before? Like, just let us know in the comments. And again, subscribe to DailyDelle TV. Vlogs will be uploaded every other week on Mondays currently. And it's going to show my life where I'm at. And if you want to know where I'm at, you will know if you go to DailyDelle TV. So, before I announce it on here and other platforms. But I will talk to you guys on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see y'all.